Taking a brave step forward, the group venture onto the crystal to look over Aster's crystallized remains. They end up finding something that Sully has been looking for decades, incidentally. Carrot particles, also known as light particles, or as some know it, or as I know it, the blood of Yamal. Making a decision to flee from the crystallized bunker, however, they wisely return to the gas station on their way to the collective. I really do hope that Lark gets a good night's sleep, and well, if they do, I guess you're about to find out. This is The Sprouting. Chapter 1, The Meeting of Souls, Part 6. You may start at the session by regaining 5 sanity, because you slept under a roof and you had some good talk.
Whoa!
You open your eyes. The sky is purple. The ground is blue. There are creatures all around you that are writhing, made of masses of vines and flesh and leaves. You dream of this place often. You know you need to get up. You know you need to run. It's not like a normal dream.
Uh-oh.
There's no flittering. There's no incoherentness. It's very solid. The dirt beneath you, although it's blue, feels like dirt. You look up and around it and you see creatures off in the distance. You see rocks all around you. You see very old kind of trees. They're not quite right. The coloration's very wrong. They're kind of like bright orange bark, and the leaves are kind of more metallic in color. They're crescent shaped. You see, sitting under the tree, an older man. He's wearing what looks like a cowboy hat and a long leather duster. You see that sitting next to him is a fairly young-looking woman, probably in her late teens, 20 at the frickin' eldest. She's got long, straightish, dark hair. She has bright blue eyes, freckles, wearing a black and purple checkered shirt, and you recognise both of these to be Roland and Bree. What do you want to do, Luck?
Definitely making sure that the pathway is clear and then making a run for them.
Yeah, as you kind of like begin to make your run, like you can hear your footsteps like echoing all around, and you see both of them look up, and you see Roland's hand lift, and you see like some weird things that were kind of like rocks that are in the way just like scoot off to one side. Your path is fairly clear, and you manage to make it to the three of them, to the pair of them very, very quickly.
Roland, Bree.
Hi. You managed to find us then?
Yeah. Well, at least here. Are you alright?
I'm fine. I found somewhere to rest. The motorbike ran out of fuel.
Oh.
The hollows crest are a little way, but the pack of them are still coming. I need to get up early to keep drawing them away. But I'll be fine. Did you find somewhere safe?
I'm with the people that you told me to see.
I thought I saw Sully down there. Is he okay?
Yeah, Sully. Yeah, the old man. Yeah.
You see the girl kind of like roll her eyes and just like lean her head back against the tree.
So Lark is going to approach them and sit beside them, or like in front. Yeah, basically sit between, not between them, but like, yeah. Opposite them.
Yeah, like you can see that the tree is like beginning to shift and change. Like you can see that there are kind of like these dark, like red tendrils, like vines that begin to like crawl their way down. But Roland doesn't seem too worried by them, and he just occasionally lifts his hand, and they just kind of skitter away.
I managed to get high up with the bike, and I saw that something happened by the lake. What happened?
Yeah, I followed Sully, and we went up to a burrow, and well, we got into a shoot. Well, there were two people shooting at us, and someone that was in the group, that was in our group, was shot, and he turned into a crystal, and then everything around him turned into a crystal, and we had to run. Have you heard of anything like that before?
The only time I've witnessed something like that, Sully was actually there.
It did seem like he had seen this before.
Indeed. I thought everyone there had died. But obviously not. How strange.
What do you mean?
I did a little work looking into what we saw. It was a cult. They prepared their members, and obviously the ritual had not been completed. Now I guess I know why. Someone made it out.
He did say he was from a cult. And, a friend of Sully said that he couldn't properly see the one that got shot and that turned into crystal.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know either.
I have to go. I think something's outside.
Oh. Stay safe. Is there somewhere we can meet again?
I'm not sure right now. I'll let you know when I'm safe.
Okay. Next time.
Keep practicing your exercises. Stay away from this place.
And with that, he kind of... And that's when you notice that the red vines that have been coming down from the tree begin to properly and very quickly make their way down, and Bree just kind of gets up, like, eyes rolling. She kind of, like, walks over to you and just, like, gestures to, like, start walking the fuck away. Yep. As you see these red vines come down and, like, begin to, like, splay out and get further and further and just kind of try and follow you, but you two are definitely faster than them, even at a brisk pace.
Yeah. How are you, Bree?
Tired. So fucking tired.
Yeah, me too. Everything all right where you are?
No. No. I feel like we've been walking for days and days and days, and this pack is so heavy, and
then we have to do walking in our dreams too.
Yeah. In fact, you know this. Of course you fucking know this. You're everything inside my brain. Of course you know this. Oh. Tell me something I don't know. Let's pretend that this is real. Tell me something I don't know. Just And she kind of like puts hands both sides of her face, and she looks done.
I found a vial of the red liquid that was in my compass. I told you about my compass, right?
Yep, there's a compass.
Yeah. It
has a needle.
It had red liquid in it, and I found another bottle full of the red liquid. At least it looked very similar. And there was an arrow in it.
Is it like in the red liquid? Are you sure it's not just the compass?
No. Well, it seemed to act like a compass, but it was glowing, and it was an arrow. It looked very similar to what was in the compass.
Sounds like a compass. I'm sorry, Lark.
You need rest.
Yeah.
Has Roland not taught you the exercises to not dream?
I've never met Roland. I have no idea where Roland comes from. I don't know, maybe he's what I think my family are. Maybe that's what my cousin is. I don't know. I don't know where he comes from.
I think you would really benefit from the exercises. You could really use a rest.
I mean, maybe you're telling me because my brain has finally given up, and I trust you, and it's finally letting me try and get some... And with that, she disappears because you open your eyes and the sun is beginning to come through the window. I'm going to assume that Sully is going to awake at this point. On watch.
Let's say that. I'm fine with that. Yeah, Sully's just kind of sitting on the couch. He seems like very focused on the door. He's listening intently. So you probably waking up. He's like, good morning.
Lark is just waking up very groggily, like getting up, and like it doesn't like they seem very exhausted despite the fact that they slept. At least they don't look like they've rested properly.
Good morning.
Morning. Lark is gonna look around for Ralph.
Yeah. He's over
also...
stretching in the corner. He's awake.
Yep.
I'm awake.
Subsequent to say, other than Lark's bad dream, y'all had a peaceful night. Watches were uneventful, and this is now first thing in the morning.
I was gonna say while we were waiting on everyone to wake up, he's probably like had his drone outside charging the best that it can with solar panels in the early morning bits of sun that we have while we're not moving here. Any tiny bit of charge you can pull out of the morning.
Yeah. You haven't got a whole lot first thing in the morning, and it'll probably charge up properly over the day when you're not actively using the drone. So let's say for the moment you have 2d10, and then if we get to Diableria without any issue, without having to use the drone, then we'll say that you get to be full.
Sully gets up. He's packing up what little stuff he had taken out, and looks to Lark. All right. Do you want to see if your compass points north?
Sure. They get the compass out of the bag and open it up.
Sully's gonna try without looking at the compass. He's gonna exit the gas station, and then he faces the sun. And then, if I'm catching this correctly, I've never used the sun to find directions in my life personally. He basically just kind of points 90 degrees west, left of him.
The sun should be on your right side in the morning.
Yeah. So like if you, so he like points to what should be north.
Sully, you are able to do that. I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do. And yeah, Lark, if you kind of see that, Sully walking out and just kind of like looks at the sun, turns, and then points, your compass is pointing in the same direction.
It's currently pointing where you are pointing.
Doesn't prove anything yet, but tonight, when the sun is setting, we can do this again.
Okay.
I'm not trying to take anything away from the gift from your friend. I just don't want you to use it incorrectly and get yourself hurt.
I trust Arenda. She said to use this if I ever want to get back to Driftwood, and I trust her.
I think you may be using it incorrectly. I'm sorry. But let's not get into this right now. We have a long day of walking ahead of us, and I'd rather not start the day off on a bad note.
Yeah. Let's just get walking.
Let me see. I think Sully's going to dig out some food that he has in his backpack and scarf down whatever the hell he has. I'm assuming most of what we live off is vegetation. Like,
kind of, yeah. You'd be scavenging a lot for sure. If you can find old food in tins, it's always a risk to open it. But if it hasn't been spoiled, you're probably okay. But yeah, generally speaking, you're scavenging or you're lucking out able to actually hunt something. But yeah, that's or fish. It is possible. But yeah, you're able to take down snacks and whatever vegetation you may have as supplies, and you make your way along the road. You would know...
Sorry. Does Ralph actually have supplies?
He would have traveled with at least... I would be good for today, because I would still normally be traveling today. But when we get to where we're going, I'll probably be out at that point, because I didn't anticipate being,
being out for longer.
Having to travel for more than a day.
Yeah. The road that leads towards Diableria is quite broken. It's overgrown at some points. You always keep the lake to one side of you. You notice that in the lake itself, that if you kind of look at it in the right angle and just as the sun hits it right with a little bit of shadow, you can see that there are what looks like the tops of very tall buildings in there, as if this lake contains a city that was swallowed by water. And the closer towards like midday that you get, and just after midday, you think you see people on boats in a bit of a distance that are dumping off of them and into the water and diving down. It's roughly in the area of Diableria, you think, but you can't be sure. But yeah, as you keep walking around this lake, you see these small plants that you had seen the night before. They obviously don't travel as fast as you, and especially kind of like after midday, you see these small plants with their kind of like really dark green roots and their kind of like earthy coloured leaves. There are like 4 leaves to each of these plants that kind of like, they would look a bit like a very, very big 4-leaf clover, just the wrong coloration and moving. And you see them kind of like scuttling their way along the road. They don't seem to have any ill intent towards you. They don't seem to be following you. They kind of veer off the side of the path as you're making your way along the road. But at times you have to pull out whatever machetes you may or may not have, or use your sickle and clear some like very, very thick brush and undergrowth that is just very difficult to get through. But with the exception of the small plants that are kind of scattering along the road that you've left probably a couple of hours behind you now, you manage to make it to Diableria fairly easily without too many problems. I mean, yeah, getting through very thorny bushes scrapes your legs up if you're not wearing trousers, or and you know, the plants are a little unsettling, and you definitely sometimes hear the sound of like ticking in the background as if there may be a hollow's crest around, but that very quickly disappears. And looking into the lake, you see algae and you see what looks like seaweed that's growing up from the ground mixed in amongst the old buildings and the smaller buildings and all the things that's contained in the lake, but you don't really spot or come across anything else. And you make it to Diableria in fairly good time. It's probably an hour, maybe 2 before sundown. As you make your way towards Diableria, you turn a corner after taking down some incredibly thick underbrush. And as you break through that, you see ahead of you old rusted cars that have been moved to the sides of the road, so they make like an almost like straight line that leads you to this what looks like a rusty old corrugated iron sheet that has barbed wire and razor wire on the top of it. And looking at it, it's obvious that this thing moves from side to side, allowing people and things in. There's even like a very small door that's in it, and you notice that this is attached to walls. These are large metal walls that have been propped up with cars on the side that you can see that seem to be stacking, as if they've pulled all these cars to reinforce one side of this wall, the outside wall. You can see that the fence, this wall that they have built of cars and metal, goes off to one side, and you can see that it ends partway into the lake itself. You see, standing in sort of just outside the kind of large metal sheet that moves and acts as a bigger gate, you can see that there are 2 kind of older looking folks. They have very obviously very large machetes on them, and one of them has like really short silvery hair and is obviously much older than the other, and the other seems to be like big. They're quite muscular in frame, and they see you approach and they kind of just give you a wave.
Sully waves back and is gonna approach the 2 guards. No weapon at the ready, like shotgun slinged over, all that good stuff. Hello.
Watcher?
Sorry?
You see them like look at each other and they kind of like You see the younger one just kind of like hit the older guy, and the younger one says, "Come on, speak a bit more normally for him." How you doing? What's your what's up?
Hello. We're doing okay. We're traveling to find a man in this town.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I have his name written down here somewhere. Yeah, there was a... Henri was the name of a man. We met a friend of his, Aster.
Oh, him, yeah. Henri's inside, but Aster's not allowed back in.
Yeah, Sully kind of shakes his head and just like, okay, but yeah, Aster is not traveling with us.
Good. No one's, see that one? Be careful.
Why do you say that?
Odd connections. Let's put it like that. Gives me the shivers being around them. I think there's a little... I mean, magic's fine, and some of us have magic here, and you can see that they look a little uncomfortable saying that. But some of us use our magic to heal people, and some people don't.
Yes.
Previously, Lark was kind of ducking behind Sully, like trying not to be noticed. And then when they not mention like healing people with magic, they perk up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that. I'm trying to decide if Sully is the kind of person that just kinda like, oh, lying does you no good, so, like, why not just tell the truth? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, I could definitely see telling the truth being, like, an unfortunate thing here. Oh, yeah, we were hanging out with him the other day. He's dead now. Like, it's not a great opener to try to get to enter a city. Yeah. Yeah, he asked us to get a little bit of information to his friend Henri before we parted ways. We also are looking for a little bit of information about my brother.
You see the older guy cross his arms and he turns his head to the younger and he says, "Go see if you can find out where Henri is. You want to pass on this message and we'll make sure it gets to him? And who the fuck's your brother?"
My brother's Revan. He used to be in the city of Despazar. I haven't seen him in many, many years. I'm just trying to find out where he's located now. He's a scientist. Used to be very important, but I don't know what he does.
I'm going to stop you there. I don't know him. There might be someone inside that can either... Yeah, we've had a couple of people passing from there, so... Yeah, I'll ask around to see if anyone knows. What's this message for Henri?
Would be very difficult to explain. I would prefer if we spoke.
You see him roll his eyes.
I would prefer if we got to tell him. We also have items to trade and food to buy.
There you go. Much better. It's like you've never dealt with a collective before. Bloody hell, mate. Yeah. What have you got?
I have a little couple of odds and ends that we found in an abandoned burrow. We also have the location of a burrow that might be of interest.
Your location of a burrow?
It's mostly destroyed at this point, but there's probably stuff there for you guys to recover. Nothing that we could do by ourselves.
Alright. How far away is it?
I'm not telling you. Yeah, there's definitely like I'm not that stupid, friends.
Oh, suck up one every minute. Alright, fair enough. I mean, that sounds like it's pretty fair enough. I mean, we've got to verify it, but yeah. Well, if you've got a location of a burrow, broken or not, if it's new to the collective, then it's probably worth entry for... Is it 3 of you? You all together?
Yes.
I mean, I assume so, but...
Yes. Have I been here before?
Why don't you decide?
Roll a history.
Your choice.
Roll what?
Either you have been here, or you can roll me a history with... No, like, you would either be here or you wouldn't. This is your choice. Okay. Entirely your choice. Like, the collective does do a lot of business and would do business with you. If you, for example, if they were looking into how to fix something, they would probably, like, if they don't have information on it, they definitely seek someone to either tell them or to come visit and fix it. And it's entirely up to you if you want to have done that.
Okay. A luck roll, maybe, just for randomness?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, just for random. For the lols.
Okay. Let's say no. I failed.
No, you haven't actually been here before, but yeah, like, you probably would have done some dealings with them. And the dealings you would have had with them would be for an air compressor.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Why not? Fuck it.
Air compressor? What are you up to, you fucker? How many inflatable mattresses do you have that you need an air compressor?
I have an army of wavy tube men.
That's how you keep your burrow safe.
That's your defense system, just the wavy voice. The plants think, oh, there's already one of us over there.
Oh my god, he's so tall!
Run! You see the guy, like, he lifts a finger and he goes inside and he comes out with like a clipboard, and he has like a pencil that's like super small. You know, the things we would normally throw away, they're using that. And he's like, all right, let me check you in. Names?
My name is Gerald Lim, but I'm often called Sully.
Yep. Yep. And he seems to be writing like a few like key details now, which you would know is standard. All right, Gizmo Man, what about you?
Ralph Jackson.
And what about you, young'un?
Lark.
No last name?
No.
All right, fair. It's all right, a couple of people here don't, just wondered. All right. Seem to be writing down a few key details. All right. You got one day, and he kind of puts it inside. If not, I'm going to need to find it, and I'm going to kick you out. I might not let you leave with your stuff. All right, one day. Get him. And he kind of like holds open the gate.
Sully leads the way. Quick question, V.
Yeah.
Is this standard practice? Trade to be even allowed to enter? Threat of thievery if you stay too long? Like,
it's not standard for where you came from.
No.
But it might be standard for their collective.
All right. No problem.
This seems standard for people who have things and like don't
want more
want people to take them.
Like, I get it. I'm just like, if V says this is standard, I'm fine with it. But like,
it really kind of does depend on the collective. Like, you've been to a couple and they all seem to have their own little like quirks, and it could just be down to, for example, we have a buttload of stuff, or we are on a burrow, or we are by the sea, so having these things makes no sense, or we're in an indefensible position. Like, everyone will sort of have their own rules. That seems to be theirs. Three of you step through the gate. Inside, you see that this kind of metal fence goes quite far, and you can see that the barbed wire and the razor above, they also go all the way around, and you can see what looks like, evidence of like old battles. Like, there's obviously like fire scorch marks, and you can see that there are clearly plants that have been smeared down the inside of the wall as they try to climb over. Like, this place hasn't escaped scot-free, but generally speaking, the few buildings that are still standing seem to be doing pretty well. There's 4 or 5 story buildings like every like couple of blocks, and they seem to be okay. Yeah, there's missing windows, and the plants and vines are crawled over them. You can see that there's evidence of Zalata's grace that's kind of like heaped up in corners or like running along the streets, but mostly there are no old cars that are clapped out. They have obviously been dragged away at some point, and as you kind of look off to your right hand side as you came in, you can see the lake, and you can see that there is a lot of small piers and a couple of small boats. And right now, as the sun is like, it's not really beginning to set, but it's like a couple of hours away from it, that golden light hour for photographers. You can see there's lots of like smaller boats that are like beginning to make their way back. You can see there are people waiting there to help them unload, and generally speaking, it seems to be okay. There aren't any like open market stalls or anything, but you do see there are like 3 or 4 different like buildings that seem to still be intact, and you can see a couple of people walking around as they're kind of obviously heading back home for the evening, or like heading off to what looks like a small shop to buy something if they have currency here. So yeah. Sully, you would immediately notice, like as you come in, just forward and to the left of you, there is like this small building which is converted from like an old grocery store, just like a small one that you like finding like small villages and such like. And you can see that has like, you know, all the symbols and all the signs that deem like this is the trader's post. Like this is, if you're trading shit, this is the place to come. And this would be quite familiar for you. This is kind of the sort of place that you used to have worked. So
yeah. Would Sully assume that he should take the location of the burrow to, like, the leaders of Diableria? Or is this something he would just trade to a scavenging gang within Diableria?
No, this is something that you know is really valuable. And yeah, like, the guys on the front gate would definitely try and scav that information off of you because it is worth it, even if it's a slightly destroyed bunker. And if they had, a burrow, and they didn't know about it, it still has potential for a lot of information in there. So, yeah, this is something you'd want to take as high up the chain as you're allowed to meet within a day.
Yeah. Sully, like, considers the situation. I think we take the information we have about the bunker to whatever leaders want to talk to us about this. And we'll try to make sure that we get food, rations, and whatever passes for currency around here, probably fish, to travel with us, something light. Please feel free to tell us what you're looking for, Ralph, since finding the burrow was also your work.
Oh, like I said, I wasn't getting out to find anything. I was getting out to make connections. You needed something, and the vault needed something. 2 birds with 1 stone, you know? And,
I get you.
Well, didn't quite work out. You got your seeds, though.
I did get my seeds.
There's that.
I hope I can make it to a good farm soon.
You notice that a lot of the folks who are coming back in with the boats, you can see that like some of the whatever it is that they have managed to dredge from the lake is being like immediately hosed off with water. They obviously still have a pump here. It is obvious they still have some sort of electricity here. How they're getting that, you'll have to go find out. And then you can see that they're kind of being shipped off to these like what looks like really large warehouses that are very, very close to the edge of the water itself. They don't seem to be taking it straight away to the trader for like assessment, which is a little bit of a weirdness. Mm-hmm. Normally you bring things straight in, but for whatever reason they're taking it to the warehouse first. You notice those that are finished their days diving or their days dredging, they all seem to be heading towards one building. And like when you hear the door open, you hear like music. Not pre-recorded, but like live music, like someone playing a guitar or some other stringed instrument. And you hear like the sounds of merriment. So your best guess is this is probably some sort of pub.
Mm-hmm. Let's decide on a local delicacy for Diableria. It would be some kind of a...
It's fish.
Yeah, but it's some kind of a fun fish. Let's say...
Fun fish.
Like deep...
A clownfish.
Like deep fried. Like
Mars bar?
They do like a... No, like a deep fried fish, like using some kind of a oil, like fish oil to fry it.
Yep.
And dried seaweed. It's like the local dish thingy.
Fish plus seaweed.
Thanks for making it sound as unappetizing as you could.
It's more because I was writing something else down and I only picked up the words fish, fried, seaweed.
Deep fried. Okay.
Garnished with 4-leaf petal thingies that walked past us earlier.
Yeah. The fun part is to feel them squirm around as you eat them.
Oh, no.
It's how we still feel superior to the plants.
By the way, Lark is not gonna pay much attention to you. They're just going to look around like, you know,
yeah.
a small town person in a big city.
Yeah. I'm super tempted to let Lark run off on their own. Like, I'm super tempted, but at the same time, I don't want Lark to miss out on the next couple of scenes. It's like
on the next couple of plot points.
Yeah.
Lark, get back here. The plot is moving.
Okay, meta talk here. Do you want Lark to run around a little bit? Like, I can go do the trade with the headquarter guys and then meet you at the pub. Like, if you want to.
Like, even though they're looking around, they would still be like subconsciously following you.
Okay. I wanted to ask you what you wanted for your character there. All right.
The city's a little bit loud for them.
So, yeah, loud. It's a moderate drone.
Well, you can't hear the plants approaching in this kind of environment.
True. So, what is it that the three of you want to do? Where do you want to start?
Well, I think we should start with the trading with the talk to the leaders, because they're probably gonna want to send a scout out. So,
yep.
And also by talking to the leaders first, we're gonna get our day pass extended. They can start trying to find information about Revan, Sully's brother, and I think it's just the best thing to do first. It has a lot of time-sensitive elements. After that, we can.
How do you want to start?
Is there an obvious, taller building that Sully would know those motherfuckers would put themselves in?
Yeah, sure. There's a building that has 5 floors. It's not unusual, but this one definitely has you're looking up at it and you can definitely tell that there are people moving up there and they seem to be sitting down. So they clearly have some sort of rooftop terrace shit going on. So yeah, let's say that's it. Sure, why not?
A couple of more extra fixed windows than the other houses.
Yeah.
Just smell it. So Sully kind of points that building out. I've never been to Diableria before, but I assume they probably live there. They probably have their headquarters over there. So let's go deal with the leaders first, get what we can out of the deal, and then we can take the evening off. We can try out I'm assuming if you lived out on a small island, have you ever tried anything fried, deep fried in oil, Lark?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You might like it, you might absolutely hate it, but either way, it's going to do something funny to your stomach, so we're going to try that out later.
Uh-oh.
Let's go talk to the bosses first.
Yeah. You're able to make your way along to the building. Nobody really stopped you. I mean, you get a couple of looks of they're new in town. This is someone new. You get a couple of those. Sully, can you roll a luck check for me, please?
Can it be anybody but me? No, I know why you're making me roll luck. You bastard.
Why?
Haha, hard success.
Fuck. Yeah, you're able to make your way down the town and you find the building that's 5 stories and there's clearly people above it. And it's obviously an old apartment block, so there's no lush anything to it. The lower floors are definitely broken and destroyed and the windows have had to be patched, but everything above seems to be pretty good. And yeah, there's kind of a youngish man who is kind of standing on the door and he's sort of just inside the entrance and he's kind of standing there and he seems to be writing things down and at a quick glance he's some sort of secretary maybe, or someone who'd be reception based person, taking notes, figuring out what's going on. And he looks up and you recognize him. He is a young man that used to be friends with your son. Very easy to recognize, roughly the same sort of age. Yeah.
Would I know his name? Remember his name?
Yeah, you know his name is Tubert. Tubert.
Oh. Tubert. Or Tubert.
Do we want to go Tubert? I don't really care. Tubert and Tubbs for short. Yeah. You know his name to be Tubbett. Yeah, you recognise this kind of like late 20s, sort of, maybe-ish. Yeah, you recognise him to be definitely older. But yeah, your son's friend. His name is Tubbett. He's going prematurely bald.
Oh, no.
He's like quite thin. He doesn't look like he's particularly strong, but he was never a very athletic kid. He was definitely the kid who sat at the side and like supported his friends doing that. He was never very much like that, but he was always like quick-witted. He was very smart.
Yeah, Sully's gonna approach him and like looks him kind of up and down like, is that you, Tubbert?
Mr. Lim, hi. Oh my god. He kind of like gets up and like walks around and like gives you like a big hug.
Sully returns the hug.
I haven't seen you since, yeah, but like, wow. I'm sorry, I never expected to see you here.
I didn't expect to see you here. Well, then again, people move within the collective a bunch.
Yeah, I got married. My partner lives here, so yeah.
Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
This is an offhand question, but you haven't seen Vivaldi, have you?
No, not since you left.
No.
Sorry. I heard that he'd gone west at one point.
Yeah,
but
that's the last I could find of him. It's okay. He's out there somewhere doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Viv, like, he's fine. He's all good.
I'm sure. I'll definitely want to catch up with you at the pub later. When are you off?
Oh, I have to go home. Switching over with the missus to look after the kids. She's going for a night dive.
Right. Then, I have a business with... Who are the leaders around here? What can you tell me about them?
Oh, yeah, he kind of like runs back behind the desk as I quickly flick over to the picture name list again. Yeah, there's folks upstairs called Ash Malik. You want to see him? You got business with them? What kind of business have you got?
We're looking to trade information, and I'm looking to find my brother. We also need food for the road, you know.
I'll tell you what, I can look up about Revan.
I would appreciate that.
See where he and Bree are gone to, and I'll have that for you by the time you come down. I've got to go to the communications, but I'm sure someone there will let us know. And I'll buzz up. Hang on. And he kind of like scatters around, like tries to clear bits of his paper off his desk. He holds down a button, and like you hear him very quickly just say that there is someone here to see you. It is very, very important. He overplays it, if anything. He has no idea what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But he always like remembered you fondly. So like he kind of like does that, and like they say, yeah, go on up.
Yeah. Sully like holds the door open, gets there. What can you tell me about your boss?
Might want to stroke the ego a little bit.
Simple man.
But I didn't tell you that. It wasn't me.
Good luck with the kid tonight.
Thanks. And hopefully see you when you come down, Mr. Lim. That'll be great. And he kind of like goes back to it, and he picks something up, and you see him like bustle off into another room, presumably to do what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, we start walking up the stair, and Sully says out loud, "Okay, we probably don't have to trade for the information about my brother. So I guess it's literally just food, stuff of valuables. I guess we could just trade for valuables, I guess. Nice clothes, better shoes. Oh, I could do with better shoes."
You reach the top floor, and there's only like a single apartment up here. And you can see that the door is already like slightly ajar. And it's very obvious very quickly that even from the carpets up here, this place is very well looked after. There is like obviously like cracks in the wall here and there, but they have been patched up and they are made to look artistic instead of a ramshackle piece of shit. This place has been very well looked after. Kind of like looking through, and you see like there is this kind of like a middle-aged man that kind of like walks over, and he's got like a dark complexion and very, very short hair, and he's wearing like as close to a suit as you could get without the jacket. Like he looks very like prim and proper, and he's got a waistcoat on, kind of like a bright pink tie. He walks around with someone who's very confident of himself, and he kind of like throws open the door even further and like ushers the three of you inside, closes the door, and he says,
"Hello, I am Ash. My associate tells me that you have important information. Please, take a seat. Is there anything you would like to drink?"
Yes, just clean water for me, please.
Water. And you too.
Well, same is fine.
Do you have juice?
We do. Apple or grape?
Ooh, grape juice.
Coming right up.
and you see like he kind of like does a nod. He goes over to the kitchen area, gestures you to sit down, and the chairs are really plush and they've been recently upholstered, not with the greatest of attention to detail, but you know, it's nice. It wasn't the shit couch you slept on last night. And he comes over with like a tray with a couple of the glasses. It has like ice cubes in the water and in the
ice cubes
in the juice, and he has one himself. Yeah, it's like it's living in a lap of luxury, and he puts them down in front of you, and he sits down in a chair opposite, and he like folds his legs over and rests his hands on his knees.
So, what brings three traders of extremely important information to such a humble collective as Diableria?
You definitely see Sully like he sighs a little bit, and then he puts on a semi-obviously fake smile. Nothing humble about a good outpost. People are living, people are thriving. You have a business. You're doing well.
Yes, we are thriving well.
We have information that I believe is very much in your interest to hear. It will take you some time to confirm it, and I guess we just want to trade.
It depends on what it is you have, and what we can offer. What are you after?
We're looking for valuables. We're probably going to have to travel again, so we're not looking to stay here for a very long time. We need things that we can take with us. Be that functioning drives, batteries, or just rare metals, stuff like that.
You see him like lift one hand at you and like kind of like holds his hand up to you as if he wants you to stop. And he turns to look at Ralph and he says,
"It sounds like all these valuables are for you, good sir. What is your name?"
Oh, I'm Ralph. I'm not sure I have any immediate needs or anything.
Tell me.
He kind of like looks you like up and down, looks at the pack you've had to put to one side because you're sitting down.
It appears that you have a drone, you have charging panels, you have some sort of eyewear, but I cannot figure that out exactly, and
I've got an old work kit, right?
I used to be in drones when I was younger. Can no longer find the parts. Amazing to see you still have one.
Appreciate you.
So,
and he kind of like leans forward, and he's definitely like ignoring Sully at this point.
You're looking for drives. Looking for anything in particular on these drives?
Well, I imagine any drives you've got here you haven't pulled out of a lake, I hope.
Well, actually, an interesting fact about Diableria. There is something magical and mystical about the lake. Means that nothing down there degrades.
Really?
As soon as we pull it out, we have to hose it in fresh water and dry it out in rice. As long as we do that in a timely period, nothing down there is broken. Even the food is unspoiled.
What?
I know. We didn't discover this until, probably 12 years ago. There was a young person here who decided to free dive into the lake, see how far they could dive on a single breath. They had done this for years as a hobby. They said they broke through a layer in the water, it went from warm and heavy to a light chill. And everything from that point down was unaffected. From that point on, we've been training everyone to free dive. I am a little too old for it now myself. I had to run in with a bad plant. Now I have asthma.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I did rather enjoy the diving, but I moved on to bigger and better things. Trying to help the whole town instead of individual halls. We have a few drives if you're interested in looking at them, if there is something in particular. If the information you have to offer is of verifiable and good value, then we'd be happy to let you look through and have your choice.
Well, I work a bit far away from here at the moment, but the services I usually offer are that I can take the drives and I can run them through a collection of other things that I've collected over a long period of time and provide you not only with all the information that I collect off of your drives and manage to recover, but any information that comes from my collection that might help you understand what you've found in yours. Basically, I collect information and offer it up for anyone who might need it. All the drives I can return to you. It's just whether or not you'd like to database them. And I'd be willing to offer whatever is available of my data collection to help out your operation. I mean, no wonder you've got guards out front. Seems like a quite magical opportunity here.
Yes, we'd like that. We do not generally allow a lot of people within the borders of our little sanctuary. Having found what we found, it makes Diableria a ripe target for raiders and cultists. Anything who thinks this is an opportunity for reward or history. We make sure anyone who lives here are good people.
Sure.
We'd be interested in that, Ralph. Provided, of course, the information you're going to give is of use.
Of course.
And what about you?
And he turns to look at Lark.
What is your name?
Oh, they're like looking up from sipping their grape juice, which they're very much enjoying. Lark. I'm Lark.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
You're not one of their children.
No.
Good to know. How did you get involved with these two? Did you come from the same place?
We know a mutual acquaintance, and I'm trying to find them.
Oh, you're missing someone. Perhaps we could help, depending on if the information your group provides is good.
No, I will find him again. We just got separated, but we usually find each other again later, at another time.
Ah, that is sweet.
Are you sure you don't want them to try to find him?
He'll be fine.
Sully kind of like, what is it called? Pinches his shoulders like, all right.
Shrug?
Yeah, shrugs his shoulders. There you go.
Pinch sounds like the Spock thingy.
A pinching your shoulders is like when you raise them and you hold them. A shrug is the thing.
Okay. We are usually good at finding people if need be. Help yourself to other juices in the kitchen. We have apple too if you want.
Oh, they drowned in glass and get another.
You go over, like there's like an apple like juice, like a pitcher, and there's also a pitcher of like grape juice, and it's fairly obvious that they also seem to enjoy the grape. But there's like a little like bucket that seems to have like you can pull it back and you can see it has ice in it, and you can pull some out and put it in a glass. So it's really okay here.
I think they try the apple, but then they decide to go back to grape because grape.
Ash turns and looks back at Sully.
So, what are you looking for? Other than valuables to making traveling easier, everyone is looking for some information.
You have nothing that I want.
Then I don't know why you're trading with us.
Other than the valuables I mentioned before.
Okay. Then what is this information you're trading with? must be important if my associate decided to send you straight up.
It is. We know the location of a burrow. Here before unknown. It is beat up. I'm not going to beat around the bush in that. But there's still a lot left of it. Currently, there is no creature inside of it. At least when we left it. So, yeah. Before I tell you more, I need 2 assurances from you.
Name them.
You will house and feed us for as long as it takes for you to confirm its location. And you will be a man of your word. You will not need to know you're a man of honor. You cannot give me what I want before you confirm what I have. And once you know what I have, you have it too.
That is true. If the burrow is true.
It is. So I need your word.
You see him kind of like look up as he's obviously thinking, and he says,
I can ensure you're all housed, fed, until confirmation. Then I will make sure that Ralph can get whatever drives he finds interesting. I will make sure you get good quality for traveling.
Good. Psychology.
Sure, go ahead.
Trying to read if he's hesitant because he's afraid he might trade it might not be worth it, or if he's hesitant because he doesn't like lying. There we go. Psychology. That's a hard success on 18 on a 65.
He seems to be contemplating if he can trust you at all. Okay. There is something about your presence, like when you arrived, like when you started talking. He obviously kept he was trying to do anything except interact with you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said he needs to be a man of trust and a man of honor definitely rankled him in the wrong way, and it is to do with you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Sully is an abrasive person, and I could have stroked his ego, but that's just not what Sully does. That's the problem.
There will be no stroking here.
That was the problem. As soon as you told me, oh, he has a big ego, I was just like, oh, fuck, well, Sully sucks at that shit. He's never gonna, blow wind up somebody's ass. No, your fart smells like farts.
If your information proves false, what then?
Sully looks at his backpack. I have valuables far beyond anything that would be the time it takes to get there and back.
Show me.
Sully gets out the sniper rifle. Puts it on the table. Fully functional. Well maintained. Not a speck of rust on this thing. Kills a man from 100 and... it's lethal.
Turns people into crystals.
Yeah, it was definitely Sully was
Maybe going to leave that bit out? Yeah.
No, he doesn't need to know that. There's a reason why I wanted to talk to Henri face to face. I don't want to be like, oh, there's that crystal gun. People dying.
He seems to study you for a little bit.
I will keep this in my possession, and you may have it back if your information is correct, or it will pay for your stay.
Good. All right. I don't know how to do the next part, but basically Sully is gonna describe roughly the condition of the vault, what he saw in it. He's gonna omit everything about the crystal, as that would be as soon as he says oh, there's a giant crystal thingy outside. He's like, okay, yeah, I don't need you anymore. And he's gonna try to barter with the guy for like I said, valuables and stuff, because I'm assuming we're going to be traveling for a couple of days, so we need food and stuff. And also, I would just like for us to, there isn't exactly cash in this world. So...
yeah, it's mostly all trade.
Yeah.
he kind of pulls out he goes into a back room and he pulls out a map of the area and he kind of like marks like the rough boundaries of where like he is, and it's very easy for you to just like very quickly like, oh, it's like roughly here. Like if you go here, you'll find like confirmation of what we're talking about. You're past this gas station here. There are weird little plants running around over here. You're absolutely able to do that. And he's like willing to trade like, better survival gear so you have a bit of a chance. Like replacing shoes, broken equipment, food enough to travel for a couple of days, but he doesn't go as far as you want him to when it comes to food. It's like, no, you'll have fish and you'll be fucking happy about it. Like it's kind of like far. Like he's willing to trade with you. You don't necessarily get everything you want, but you have some food and you'll be able to have some other tradables too, if the information works out to be right.
Of course. What about like, how does in-town credit work? Like, do the people in here have tokens that they trade for dives, or like?
He kind of explains that like if you go on dives, you'll get a certain amount of like shares. So like you like every day you're entitled to have a certain amount of food and a certain amount of drink, and that's just kind of standard across the collective anyway, provided you do work. If you want something above and beyond, you usually have to scavenge above and beyond, or do research above and beyond, or like repair or make something above and beyond. So everyone has a job, everyone has like a allowance of sorts. So it kind of works like that. But for you as an outsider, you would just be assumed to be like you have access to basic food, basic drinks, like you kind of have access to really basic stuff, but you wouldn't be able to like go party down the pub. Not unless you actually like specifically traded with people for that.
That's what I wanted to try to push for. I think Sully wants a little bit of luxury because he wants to show Lark what like shit can be like.
He doesn't budge on that.
Yeah,
try.
Fine.
You can trade for it. That's not a problem.
I don't have anything to trade. Well, I do have the crystal. But I don't know how much that's worth.
What about the red stuff? Oh no, wait, we'll take that too.
No. Bad Lark, bad! Spray bottle.
Shotgun comes out from this guy's back pocket. Bam, bam, bam. This is mine now. Like he's not willing to budge on that.
No. I think like I think that's fine. Especially if Ralph gets something out of this, because I feel like at least Sully, like Ralph keeps saying he doesn't want anything or need anything, but like to Sully, that's just like that's madness, dude. Like it's madness. You're being silly.
You're missing that Ralph is also like providing a service to them. Like I'm not taking anything at all from them. I'm actually doing them a service of analyzing and cross-referencing it with existing information in a bigger database. So I'm giving them all their information back and the drives.
No, that's like definitely part of the deal is you will be keeping some of that fucking information for yourself.
Yeah, we both win. That's my business.
It's probably like an hour or so, like talking and negotiating, that he very politely shows you the door.
Yeah.
And like he indicates like
Great. I will get Tubbs to get you an apartment below mine. If you need anything, then call down and they will get you something as long as it is within the parameters I have set.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you should be able to have somebody there and back. What, tomorrow? 2 days?
Probably less than a day. There is a vehicle, or they will use the boats tonight. I will go and get some people to sort that out right now.
He kind of like walks down the stairs with you.
Yeah. Yeah, once they part ways, Sully just says like, hope everything goes well, that kind of thing.
Yes. You have a very interesting speaking style. It reminds me of someone from many years ago.
Yeah?
Indeed. Not a popular person in the collective.
The truth can be hard to swallow.
Yes, it can. Well, I'm sure if you need anything, Tubbs will be able to help you. Just try not to push your limits, politician.
Whatever.
And Ash makes his way downstairs.
Of course you had to know me.
Was he talking about you?
Yeah, I have a history with the collective.
Oh. So you've been here before?
Not here. No, Despazar. That's where I'm from. I made a couple of good points that made a lot of powerful people unhappy.
So that place is like here? Like this place?
Oh, way better. Way better. This is a shithole compared to that.
So you did come from somewhere.
Of course. Yeah, I came from Despazar. That's where my brother used to be. I used to live there with him.
I was beginning to wonder, because, Sleepy Street will take you in probably if you're actually looking for somewhere, seeing as you like to help. I mean, there are places for people.
I don't want to be in one location. There's a lot of things that need to get done if we're gonna survive all of this. And Sully kind of just gestures across, out above the walls, he's gesturing towards the world, not the city. He's like, there's a lot we have to do if we're gonna survive this. And if I just stayed at Sleepy Street, I don't think I would help enough. I don't think there would be... I think there's more things that need to be done. There's a lot of people out there that have the wrong idea. They think we can return to the old world, think we can live with luxury when that world is gone, and people need to accept that. Places like this aren't going to last very long. Well, Diableria might. Had no idea about this whole thing with the lake, but that's going to run out sooner or later. That city isn't infinite. And what are they going to do then? It's why we need to get this thing to my brother. This Carrick particle thing. My brother...
Sorry. You hear, tapping at the door. Hi. Sorry. You see that Tubbs there. He's got, a scarf on. He's got a hat on. Jacket, half on. Bad news quickly. Your brother and Bree went missing 4 years ago.
Lark perks up when they hear the name.
What do you mean they went missing?
There was an incident, and something happened with Revan at the job, and Bree took them over the wall, and that's the last anyone heard of them.
Took them over the wall? They ran away?
Yeah.
What happened at the job?
I don't know. They wouldn't talk about it. I'm sorry. Bree was just a kid.
Was?
I can try and reach out to Sleepy Street tomorrow and see if they know anything, but...
I know someone named Bree.
Yeah, but your dream friend has a very similar name, but my niece's name is Brithiel, so...
That's a name you would know too, yes.
Yeah, that's her name.
Sully definitely has a look of yeah, I said the name out loud. Of course, now it's the name. He has that
Yeah, Brithiel, I know her. Bree. I actually saw her last night in my dream.
Yeah, is she doing okay?
Not really. She seemed like she was very... It felt like she was maybe losing sleep, or she was generally annoyed.
She was a very sleepy kid.
Well, she seemed tired from not being able to get proper sleep. She has the same dreams as me, but she hasn't gotten any training from Roland like I did. She can't turn them off, avoid them.
Sully's definitely clamming up. He's crossing his arms. He probably sat down and is leaning back I don't want to entertain this. And yes, Tubbs, you may leave.
Yeah, I'll see what I can find out.
Please.
From elsewhere.
We also have to speak
to
a person called Henri. Just... I'll figure that out later, tomorrow.
I'm going to deal with one family chaos at a time, okay?
Hey guys, this is Cassie here, voice of Lark. Hope you liked the episode. If you did, please consider taking a moment to review the podcast. You can find and review the show in so many places. In your podcatcher of choice, Spotify, Facebook, or even IMDb. It would really help us a lot, and it would mean a lot to us as well. It helps the show get found, and if that's not something you care about, it also just helps us regain some real-life sanity points. So we could really use them right about now. And hey, it's free, yay! I have a couple of patrons to thank for our Not a Pete fund. And I apologize in advance if maybe I pronounced them differently than we pronounced them later in the show. Some of the names have not come up yet. I would like to thank Irel for the name Saima, Derbs for the name Stephen, Chaos Bearing Kathy for Salisander, Arista for Lacey, Crank for Gimbal Stones Turin. And from this episode, I would like to thank Flapjack Fever for the name Tubert and Peregrine for the name Ash Malik. Thank you guys so much. You help us keep this world dynamic and interesting and make it so that not everyone is named Pete. Other than that, I would like to thank Karim for providing the voice of Roland and Shaderu for the voice of Ash Malik. You guys really sounded amazing. Alright, and now I want to take a moment and talk about today's sponsor, which is Scabbard. Since The Sprouting is still a relatively new show, both Aether and I have been trying our darndest to be better at keeping notes about the world and the things our character experience. And to do that, I've been using a service called Scabbard, which is like a show bible or like a wikia in which you can enter all the information about a story. It's specifically geared towards RPG players of any kind, and you can make a own page for all characters, players or NPCs, items, places, events, monsters, etc. Pretty much like a wiki, but it will automatically recognize when you repeat certain names or place names in the description and ask you if you would like to link the pages together. And in some cases it does it automatically, which is really nice. It saves a lot of time. If you have a running campaign, you can sign up either as DM or as players. And if you are the DM of the campaign, you get a few extra tools, such as adding notes to characters that the players cannot see. It also has an inbuilt AI called Alejandro, who will basically scan your pages, and you can ask it specific questions regarding your campaign, or even just ask it for inspiration for little side quests or side campaigns that you want to do with the characters, and it will scan all your notes that you have for it and will provide you with some ideas and inspiration for things you can do with the characters. Considering all the things that are already in place about that character, which is a really interesting tool, I think. It can also give you a little interactive graphic that links together characters that have some kind of connection, and it does that to the second or third degree, I think. So if you forgot how one character, one place, or one item kind of link together, it can give you a visual graph that will show you, and you can move around on that graph, like you can drag it around. It's really nice, and it's very, like, it helps me personally visualize how these characters relate to each other, and I think that's pretty cool. So if that sounds like something for you, go check it out. The link is scabbard.com. That's SCABARD.com. You will also be able to find the link in the show notes. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for listening, and hear you again in the next exciting episode of The Sprouting. Neil, add cool music here. Thank you. Bye.